Last night while taking a shower, I decided to give Squidward the business, if you know what I'm saying. Immediately after I came, more poetry. Hi, I'm Dr. Drew, and this is Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. Hey everyone, welcome to Dr. After Dark. We appreciate you as always. We appreciate these emails at drdrafterdark@gmail.com and also the voice messages at 818-253-1693. Thank you so much for those. And do not forget, can we put up the mug declaring the rational revolution? It is the greatest iconography of any political movement of all time. There we go. We also have, of course, anal begins at 50. Anal starts at 50, I beg your pardon. And that mug, I just think that's the greatest picture of Christina and I declaring our rational recovery, our rational revolution coffee mug.
And we're working on some other cool, slick stuff.
You guys have shown me some amazing ideas that I hope they all come to life, because give me a break. You have something up there that I've got to see right away, because Jim Jeffries is a friend of mine, and he flubs Bert's name.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see that. Here we go.
I'm going to be performing in Colorado on, September the 8th at Red Rock. So you're welcome to come if you want to come and have a laugh. Me and Bert Kreisler. Bert Kreisler.
Well, come on. Anybody could do that. Come on. I'm going to call Bert Kreisler from now on, though. I'm going to call him that.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think Bert Kreisler is what we should call him. But thank you, Jim, for that. Let me also get to everybody good in the booth? Everybody themselves? Everybody okay?
Hell yeah, Drew.
Hey, I just thought of
Living
something
the life,
too.
baby.
Good. All right, you're all back. Everyone's with us. I was thinking about Annie and guilt.
Jesus Christ.
The other day when you were taking all those pills, I detected a little bit of guilt. It was before you started saying "S my D" and all that stuff, but there's a little bit of guilt there. And as I was leaving, you said, "I don't have any guilt." Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Not consciously. If there was guilt, it was subconscious.
Do you ever feel guilt?
Is that where we're going with this?
Just curious.
I think that's a very valid question, Drew.
Do I ever feel guilt?
Like, do you ever feel like you did something and it's like didn't go well, or you didn't go the way somebody misinterpreted something, or you feel bad about it? Do you know what I mean by guilt? It's a legitimate question.
Great to be back, Drew. Great to be
it's
back.
Good to be here.
Do I know what you mean by guilt? I don't think I do.
Okay.
No.
Do you know what I mean by
do.
shame?
Shame, yeah. I don't have any of that.
You don't have shame.
Have you ever felt it?
Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Have you ever felt guilt?
I don't.
You don't know.
No,
I don't.
okay. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen here. So why do you think you don't feel guilt? What would your sort of guess be why you don't feel it?
Because there's a reason for everything that's done, and it's not as though I ever have any ill intention with something that's done. So if it happens to have negative cause, it wasn't because of the intent, therefore fix it. Just fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's sort of in my mind, the best reason not to feel guilt, which is essentially what you're saying is I never do anything that I should feel guilty about. Right?
Right.
Now, people that say that sometimes are really sort of guilt avoidant. Like guilt is something they hate feeling. Now it's a good thing because it makes you do things right, but no one's perfect, and so occasionally you feel guilt. You one of those people that you hate guilt, you just don't want to feel it?
I mean, the fact that I've blocked out the concept of guilt, I'd say, I'd say that might lean towards yes. I'm one of those people.
So it may have gotten to the point where when you feel guilt, you're so guilt avoidant, you're not even like acknowledging it.
I mean, just like every other thing, I'm dissociating. Yeah.
Right, you dissociate. I think you had a little bit of guilt when I was in. You felt a little guilty about taking those pills and not coming clean with me about that.
Shit. I mean, I don't know. I guess. I mean, but if I did, wait, can guilt be subconscious though?
It can
Is that
be.
possible?
It can be. You're a dissociator, so you could be dissociated from it. It's not so much that it's subconscious; it's that you disavow it. You know what I mean? You just pull away from it the way you dissociate from other stuff. And sometimes you will like see it in other people as a way of sort of experiencing your own guilt. you'll say that person's guilty, when in fact it's your guilt you're feeling.
Interesting.
Does that ever happen? Did I look guilty to you the other day?
Did you look guilty to me?
When you were in here feeling guilty?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But interesting. So I wonder, do you think that then is why I was saying suck my dick, suck my dick? I was like putting myself into a, like something contrasting so I could just pay attention to something else?
I think so. It was something like that. That's why I experienced the yes, my D as sort of defiance. It was like, you're not going to make me feel guilty about this, man. You and your doctor stuff and your pills and you know what I mean?
Very interesting. I mean, I could tell you at least 100%, like at the forefront of my brain anyway, there's never been any like defiance towards you.
No, I know that.
But, you're saying, but in
just sort of a defiant posture.
You're
sort of defying the guilt, really, is what you're saying. Not towards me personally. I know that. I understand that.
So towards the inner me that's telling me that I should be guilty.
Just towards authority that might judge you for taking those pills.
Oh yeah. Fuck authority, dude.
That's
100%.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Yeah. So thank you for letting us take a good look at that, because I could see the guilt, and then I saw suck my dick, and I was like, interesting juxtaposition. And by the way, you didn't seem guilty then at that point. When I was experiencing it, I was like, yeah, it's not, the guilt's gone, but I could see the high more then too. Whatever the pills had done to you,
right?
Which was kind of interesting. So, anyway, there you go. So, but here's a good reason not to feel guilty, and I want to endorse any reason for not feeling guilty, which is don't ever do anything that you'd feel guilty about. Otherwise feel the guilt because you did it. That's all I'm saying. Guilt is a feeling that is not so bad. It keeps us on track. The problem is in things like depression and in drug abuse. People feel guilty for these illnesses. They feel bad, like I'm bad, which is shame, and they feel guilty, like I'm prone to do something bad, and it's really just part of the illness. And guilt and shame can actually be counterproductive when it's because of an illness you're feeling guilt and shame. If that makes sense, I'm not expressing that too clearly. Does that make sense to everybody? Dov, you're nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got. Let's get to a voice message.
Hey, Dr. Gene. I am doing a little bit of dieting. I am on keto currently, and I just took a brown that looked like a payday bar. And I was wondering, I'm snacking on peanuts a lot, and I've noticed over the last few days that there are just big chunks of it coming out my brown. And I was wondering if that's a me problem or if that's a everybody problem where they don't break down peanuts or nuts all the way, and they come out in their browns in big old chunks. So, you could answer that for me. I'd appreciate it. Keep them high and tight. You bet I'm coming up in May, and I'm going to keep feathering it out my butthole, Doc.
Feathering out my butthole? Is that a new one?
He's taking some liberties there.
Yeah, okay, good. That can happen. It's a you thing. It's probably just surely the amount of peanuts you're doing, and I'm not so sure that the keto is being maintained at the point at which you have so much peanut that so much protein that it's converted into sugar. So you got to kind of at a certain point look at the balance there. It's supposed to be a little more fat for keto if you're trying to maintain keto than all that protein. So the bigger issue is more that your keto is probably not really keto, though it's also not particularly, peanuts are a good substitute for carbohydrates. So not something to worry about.
I would actually say I'd give either two suggestions, and that's either one, chew more.
Correct. That's something they could do, and it will not be so payday-ish.
Or two, switch to peanut butter or almond butter or something where they do the chewing for you.
There are keto peanut butters. The problem with peanut butter per se is that it's usually peanut butter spread, which has got a lot of sugar in and all kinds of other stuff.
No, but you get the auntie
I get the
one
keto
with the oil on top.
I understand. There are keto peanut butters out there, and I would recommend them. They're good. Angry about NASCAR cooler ban.
Texas Motor Speedway has banned coolers. This is a bunch of bullshit. I will not be coming back to Texas Motor Speedway until this cooler ban is lifted. And none of us should come back. It's 100 motherfucking degrees out here. We're fixing to pack these stands full of people, and Texas Motor Speedway says, oh, by the way, motherfuckers, you can't bring a cooler. This is a bunch of horse shit, and I ain't gonna allow no fucking body to push me around and tell me what the hell I can and cannot do. NASCAR fans pay the bill up in this son of a bitch. That's who pays the fucking bills around here. Now you gonna fucking listen and we gonna bring our fucking coolers, or we ain't fucking coming back, motherfuckers. We bought your tickets. We walked a damn mile to get to our seat.
Wow.
In the freaking 100-degree heat. So
drink.
you could make damn money. And you sons of bitches ban coolers. That tells me that you totally disrespect us NASCAR fans that don't appreciate us whatsoever. So here's what I'm going to recommend. Us NASCAR fans need to ban Texas Motor Speedway.
Okay.
And I'm asking everybody not to come back to the next Texas race. No one. They gonna fix this shit, and I want a formal apology from Texas Motor Speedway as to why you decided to disrespect the people that are paying the bills, you bunch of dumbasses. And the other racetracks decided to put a ban on coolers, you better think damn twice. Because if I find out about it, I'm gonna light your motherfucking ass up. You don't disrespect the fans. You hear me? You don't disrespect us.
We get it, man. We heard you the first couple times. I like that he's got a plumber's hat on, Sandy the plumber.
He's pretty upset.
I don't understand why giant poster of Wayne Newton behind him. That's kind of interesting. In Texas or Vegas or something, I kind of get it. But yeah, he's upset. He wants that cooler. It's hot out there. He don't want to buy beer in the stands. He wants to bring it himself.
Yeah.
It seems reasonable, dude.
I mean, I feel like I get it because I'm like, if this is a new rule change, and all of a sudden they're not allowed to bring coolers.
Yeah,
like
that's a shock.
It changes the whole way that you do that event.
It's a whole experience change. Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, the guy, he's legitimately upset. Seems like he might get a little army behind him. That'd be interesting. Though those NASCAR fans are pretty dedicated to the race. I don't know if he's going to keep him out of the stands.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how upset he was. Look where he's sitting. He's still there.
He's still there. Well, I guess my bet is he found out about this as he was walking into the stands. You know what I mean? He was going to the race and found out he can't bring his cooler. And he's pissed. And he's not coming back. It reminds me, though, there was a video going around recently with a guy freaking out on a plane that people have lots of thoughts about. Did you see that thing going around today on Twitter?
No, I think you're going to need to be more specific.
He ended up, I think, duct taped to the chair. The guy freaking out on a plane.
You're not talking about the infamous Burger King hat, motherfucker, right?
I don't know, but it looked, people were really upset about this guy. Whitney Cummings tweeted it. Look at her Twitter feed. And she wanted to get in the ring with him, was her plan, to get in the octagon. Let's see what we got here. There he is. There it is.
You guys fucking suck. My parents are worth fucking $2 million goddamn dollars. And you know what? You fucking suck. Yeah.
Oh, this kid's
You know what? My grandpa is worth
sober people don't yell like this.
How the fuck is he not getting his ass beat?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Well, the horrible thing.
Oh, so they must have been mid-flight.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like the solution to this problem.
No, and the horrible thing is the flight attendants got fired for this guy, for them saving the rest of the passengers from this nut job. So he looks like he's definitely he's altered. He's on a substance, but he looks manic also, like he's in a really abnormal state. And so, this is not, you don't restrain people like that. That's not a cool thing, but it's an emergency, right? And then you look at all the people taking pictures of it. Look at all the lights up there. And I like the way he's yelling about his family's money. And he's a cool, that is a cool guy.
Now, I wonder if a good solution to this problem is maybe on every plane they could start outfitting one seat to be like the jail cell.
That's a really interesting idea. But I also think there ought to be further discussion about what to do with out of control passengers. What is and is not okay to do, because I would argue that in an emergency, which is really what they were in here, this might be okay, right? If you're up in the sky. You have somebody who's really not in their right mind and violent, and you're trying to save them from themselves and prevent other people from getting hurt. I feel bad that the flight attendants were fired for this. I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not signing off on it. I'm saying we need to talk about what needs to be done, given that more people are losing their shit on planes these days, and some of it seems to be the frustration around masks and COVID and everything else, and this is not that. This is mental illness and alcoholism or something, or just meth or something.
I feel like as a passenger on that plane, it was in your duty to beat that motherfucker up. How'd you let him keep talking like that?
Well,
why'd you leave it to the flight attendants?
Because
Come on,
fighting
man.
crazy people is a scary thing.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em up, bro.
Who knows
That's
what else
ridiculous.
was going on there? There was another recent. We're going down the recent airline fiascos. There was a Spirit airline brawl. Look that one up. I hope we're able to show these things. They're on Twitter. Why not? Yeah, it just happened like a couple days. There we go. That's at the airport. No, this was no. This is the one below. That's the one, second one.
Oh, sick! A full-on fight.
Full on the whole bunch of guys.
Did that motherfucker just shoot a spider web?
Oh yeah, I hear a stun gun.
Yeah. Oh, police are bringing the tasers.
See, this is way better than the duct tape. Just beat his ass.
So a woman started this? Is that what they're saying?
That was a sick Gucci mask, though.
So what is going on airlines, gentlemen? What do you think all that is? It seems like it's more and more and more of it. You think it's frustration, lack of travel? Think it's mass? Think it's all the we've been put upon by the government so much, and people are feeling like, no, you can't put on me one more thing. I'm not going to take it, kind of thing.
Well, I think there's a lot of variables when it comes to altercations on planes.
I don't know, it's upsetting. It's just unnecessary. So
well, I'll tell you what, Drew. There's all this fighting happening on planes. You know what will really brighten up your day?
I'm guessing one of these videos.
Well,
the king.
Tell you
the
when
king.
I can show you.
The king.
Good morning, my kings and queens above 18. Put your feet on the ground and take off running. Let's go. Time to wake up. Let's go get some stuff done today. I'm still looking for that special lady to be my queen.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
If you're in the Canton, Akron, Masson, or Cleveland area, let me know. Kings and queens above 18 at gmail.com. I would love to go out and do stuff and have fun and maybe take a ride on the bike. Come on. Summer has just started. Let's go do things. You guys have a beautiful day. I am heading to, I think, Detroit today. Take a load up there and bring a load back. You guys have a beautiful day. I love you guys. My kings and queens above 18.
Thank you, King.
Let's get going.
Thank you, buddy. I'm ready to go now. Thank you for that affirmation. I'm ready for my day.
Yeah, wasn't that a nice pick-me-up?
Yeah, I'm really ready now. Cleanse my palate.
There you go. Now hold on. Let me bring you back down.
Hold on a second.
I kind of like the way this looks. What do you guys think? The biggest question is, any girls out there want to sit on my face?
Yeah, that brings you back. Snaps you back to your mom's house. Snaps you back.
See, I'm putting you in a hot sauna and then putting you in a nice bath. I'm just getting you back and forth with the.
I'm worried that this guy works for the county metro, and that somebody's gonna see him, their bus driver or whatever, and gonna go, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Look who's driving my bus."
Is it the county metro shirt that gives away? That
Yes, the county metro shirt. he's this guy's gonna be. I'm gonna be getting on the subway, and that's the guy I'm gonna see. The engineer of the train. It's going to be very disturbing.
Well, if you see this guy when you're riding the bus, ask him if he wants you to sit on his face.
Did you see any? Are there any women that ever do anything like that ever? Really? I mean, really?
I mean, I was about to say not ones that have a good success rate, but I feel like any woman putting this message out will have a success rate.
Yes, exactly. And so they never do it.
Right. They don't need to put this message out.
Right. It's built into the market that they never have to put it on a video. They just sort of put it out into the world. And it makes me feel, again, I feel bad for men. I've said this before, I think. It makes me sad for men that they are so desperate and so needy and so out there and so have trouble reading what women are experiencing and why they're having trouble. And it's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's the rejection that women don't face that force men into those places.
I know.
They don't have to. They don't get what rejection feels like.
I know. Not the kind and the way that men do. And men, because the rejection is always right there, they're afraid and they isolate and they're alone and they're sad. And then they stalk. Ugh. Oh man, being a man's not fun.
The thing too, I always tell like a lot of girls ask me why guys get like that, because I mean I feel like at least all of us have been there at least once. I know I used to be that guy where I was the nice guy syndrome. I was like, why doesn't any girl like this?
Yes.
You don't get it at a point, right?
That's
There's
right.
something that changes
No,
that.
there's something that changes that reality.
Well, pussy, I was going to say, but you know, when you get it finally.
But some guys stay. There's a very small percentage of guys that never go there, and there's a not so small percentage of guys that stay there forever.
Jeez.
And they usually find somebody. They usually do. There's somebody for everybody. That's the good news. But they do stay in that state for a long time, and it's a really unpleasant state that women never have to deal with. And unfortunately, men will stalk and get desperate or get aggressive and things, you know, in response to being there for too long, and that's not good. That's not good.
Well, one thing, that I always tell women because of that is if you want to be a part of the, you know, if you want to contribute to making dudes not like that, don't lead them on anymore. Don't be their friend. Don't. If you want no and they ask for something that you don't want, just say no. Just be done with it.
No, if they show, it's a great note, Annie. If they show interest in you at the beginning, and then they seem to be okay, I'll be your friend. No, that's a stalker. That's a stalker.
Yep,
that's what that is. He's waiting for his time. I've had this call 1,000,000 times on Loveline back in the day. We probably give you some voice messages on this one. All you ladies out there that are under 30 have got a good friend. He's such a nice guy. Jimmy's so great. He waxes my car. Dude's stalking you. Trust me. You dated a few times, then you decided you really weren't that into it, and he's been my friend ever since. He's completely obsessed by you. And otherwise, he wouldn't be circling so much. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to be a friend. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that scenario of where he was really in, and then you weren't, and then he just continuously stayed around. Now, if it's somebody that you were into, you dated a little bit, and then you see each other every few months in a friend gathering or something, that's different. I'm talking about the guy that hangs around.
Best friend.
He's your good friend. Mm-hmm. That is stalking behavior full on. Have you ever done that?
Have I been the
stalker guy?
No, because that's like friend zone. I mean, maybe like in high school.
I was going to say, most guys have sort of flirted with that. Like they kind of went that direction at some point or another. Again, small percentage of guys never. A lot of bigger percentage of guys still there. And it's sad. It's a very sad, desperate place. Desperate. And you can't show the desperation because you know that'll be the end of it with this young lady. Mm-hmm. Last night while taking a shower, I decided to give Squidward the business, if you know what I'm saying. Immediately after I came, more poetry. Immediately after I came, my heart started beating through my chest. I developed tunnel vision. I momentarily fainted. Upon coming to, I was having heart palpitations, hyperventilating. My hands locked up for 10 minutes. Extremely strange position. Unable to move them. Weirdly painful. My whole body was on pins and needles. I've got a history of vasovagal syncope and a Shotsky ring. Interesting. Anxiety, agoraphobia, ADHD, AOCD, panic attacks. I've been fainting, passing out, then panicking when coming to for most of my life. But this felt different. The locked up hands were terrifying. Locked up hands from hyperventilating, probably. I thought I was going to have a seizure or a stroke. My heart felt so heavy. Should I be worried? Keep my hand tight, but I'm coming up May. This guy's still with the aloha. Also for your reference, 36 years of age. Male, 190 pounds, cannabis 1 to 3, daily cannabis, 1 to 3 drinks per week, no medication, very isolated loner out in the woods. Big Dane from Pacific Northwest. Big Dane.
Penis owner.
Why do people give their weight without giving their height? Isn't that like completely irrelevant?
Yeah. I think what he's just trying to tell, even if you were 5'5", 190 is not massively overweight. He's just making a point he's not super overweight.
Gotcha.
Here's the problem. It could have been a vasovagal episode, another one. The problem is those heart palpitations, right? The fact that there was a prominent heart palpitation when you felt like fainting, and then when you wake up, you still had the heart palpitations. All could be panic, but it also could be an arrhythmia. It could be some sort of a supraventricular arrhythmia, atrial fibs or atrial tach, SVT. Like it could be atrial flutter. It could be a lot of different things. If your heart rate was over 150, that is not a sinus tachycardia. Sinus tachycardias are caused by panic and those sorts of things. Those are normal rhythms. But after you get over 150, that is no longer a normal rhythm. And even between 100 and 150, you might want to get that evaluated. If it's, definitely should be evaluated if it's associated with syncope, near fainting, or chest pain, or shortness of breath. So this is something, any internist could do this, but you probably ought to see a cardiologist to be completely cleared. That's all I'm saying. Hi, Hitler. I was recently having sex with my wife. After I finished, I realized my ball sack felt lopsided. Feeling around, I noticed that one of my testicles was high and tight inside my body. Luckily, I was able to push it back into my scrotum. It left me nauseated and in pain for about 15 to 20 minutes after. I'm curious what could have caused this to happen. Should I be concerned? Thanks, genes. That is very common. The testicle can slide up into the inguinal canal. Some people have it all the time and have to push the testicle down in there. It doesn't really mean anything. You probably smashed the testicle when you panicked and pushed it down. It's just, don't panic. Just kind of roll it down. Guys, can I get something to drink? I've got like a weird, we're going to see the inguinal canal and the testes. Do you see it over there? Thank you. So there you go. That one in the lower right-hand corner is really the better picture. That's the, we'll have to wait for, there we go. Yeah. You see how the inguinal ring, herniated. That's actually a hernia right there. Well, there's a specialist for just about everything, right? My car breaks down, I go to a mechanic, problem with the shower, I call plumber. So when you want to get your uneven, crooked teeth fixed, you see an orthodontist, somebody who's trained to do it. They are the specialist, and that is what Candid, the invisible, comfortable, and removable aligners, sets them above the rest. While poorly reviewed or insanely priced clear aligner companies use general dentists, Candid only works with orthodontists. With Candid, the same orthodontist who created your plan is with you from start to finish, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. You have a specialist with you the whole way. Your treatment is prescribed and closely monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who is the expert in tooth movement. You can book an appointment at a Candid studio near you or do everything from the comfort and convenience of your own home. The average Candid treatment is just 6 months. I love clear aligners. I've done it myself. You'll start seeing results way before them, and it costs thousands less than traditional braces. And you can wear them all day. People don't even notice you're wearing them. And Candid can help you get the straighter, brighter smile you've always wanted. No reason not to do it right now. You can save $75 on your Candid starter kit when you get started from home, or you can book an appointment at a Candid studio near you today. Go to candidco.com/Dr. Drew. Use code Dr. Drew. That is candidco.com/Dr. Drew. Code Dr. Drew. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/Dr. Drew. Code Dr. Drew. Well, I am such a fan of learning new languages. It can be challenging to accomplish things when you travel. If you go to a country where you don't speak the language, if you don't speak at least a little bit of the language, thankfully there's Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. Through Babbel's bite-sized lessons, you'll learn new language skills that you can actually use in the real world. From greetings and menus and directions to gaining a deeper understanding of the culture, Babbel has it all. It is a travel essential. I've been traveling a bit lately, and I've learned some languages. Actually, my wife using Babbel, she's learning a little French, which has been very helpful for me. I kind of speak French, and I'm going to be working on Italian with Babbel. 15-minute lessons. Babbel is the perfect way to learn a new language on the go, and it's fun. And you really feel like you're accomplishing something, you're getting somewhere. Other language learning apps use artificial intelligence for their lesson plan, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and trust me, it is. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. You get a little addicted to it, by the way. You'll want to learn a bunch of languages. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, even live classes. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. Crazy. It's 6 months for the price of just 3. Just go to Babbel.com, use promo code Drew, that is BABBEL.com, code Drew. Babbel, language for life. Started working home at the beginning of the pandemic. Shortly thereafter, I noticed my browns have been Burt Tier Liquid Shotgun Blast. Is Burt always liquid? I didn't know that.
Burt Tier Liquid Shotgun Blast?
Yeah. Burt Chrysler. I chalked up to stress, blah, blah, blah. Curious of correlation, causation. I began holding it for an hour each time and noticed that my dookies returned to a solid state. Even kept a spreadsheet. Oh, Jesus, OCD. I get browns 97% of the time with holding for an hour, 3% difference stemming from an Day of indulgence, blah, 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 work from home. So it can be a lot of things. Liquidy or looser stools can be caused by a lot of things. Holding it back gives your colon a chance to resorb some of that water. That's all the colon does is absorb fluid, really. And so that fluid absorption can go for longer if something's not pushing it through. Like for some people, it's coffee that just pushes it through, or something else. Even drinking something hot can cause something called a gastrocolic reflex, pushes things through. And if it's not done with the water absorption, it can be a little bit loose. That's all. Let's see. Toothless road rage. I saw that last week, and I'm interested in this one. Let's see what you got there.
And it's that motherfucker almost run us over off of an exit over a dumb son of a bitch. I'm gonna let you son of a bitches know right now. I'm a bad son of a bitch. Don't you ever pull your goddamn car out in front of me like that again, boy. That's who I am. You almost run over my goddamn car, boy. And that's who I am. I'm a bad son of a bitch. I don't fuck around even in traffic. That motherfucker, he just come real close to touching us. On purpose.
On purpose.
So Drew, tell me.
Yeah, it's cool guy teeth through and through.
What disease or what
What's wrong with his jaw?
Well, I mean, like, what syndrome takes all your top teeth but leaves all your bottom teeth?
That's a great question.
Or is that just a physical altercation problem?
Good, interesting. Can we see the upper teeth in any way? Can we?
Oh yeah, I looked.
Yeah.
Previously.
Is there any like little?
Yep,
Ooh,
there we go.
Is there anything there?
A little gum action right there.
Just gum, right? There's nothing.
Yeah, there's no tooth.
You know, it may be. I'm gonna speculate. Here's my speculation. Ready? I'm gonna say this guy had horrible dental decay, like bad, and horrible gum disease. And they told him, hey, man, we're going to have to pull all your teeth. And until we make your dentures, you're going to have to walk around with no upper teeth. You go, fuck, do it. Go ahead. So this looks like a dental cause, like a dentist caused this, because it's all clean. Look at that.
So hold on.
Super clean. Somebody pulled all his teeth.
You think this guy freshly has all of his teeth out, or that they've been gone for a while?
I'm going to guess he didn't follow up with the dentist properly. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, and maybe he didn't want to pay for the dentures, and he said, I'll get around to paying for them or something. But that's too clean to be natural. Because it's weird that the lower teeth were not as involved. I agree with you. But if you notice the back
I'll tell you what. It's time to pull those pretty soon,
No, those look pretty good to me. Those look pretty darn good. Those are choppers. But the back lower teeth, if you noticed, are all gone. And this guy may have. There's another possibility. This guy may have had a meth problem. He certainly looks like a cool enough guy for that. And maybe that's the reason for all the dental stuff. I'm going to say gum disease. I'm going to say gum disease. I'm going to say he just had a mole pill for gum disease, and that happens. It does happen. And he's a badass dude, as he tells us. Hi, mommy. Hi, Hitler. Done nothing with my life since I was about 9 or 10, so for about 20 years now. Diagnosed with fibromyalgia, been misdiagnosed quite a lot. My doctors treated her with opiates. Oh, this is my mommy, 61. I thought he meant hi, mommy. He says, hi, Hitler. My mommy is 61. I glossed over that. You can't use the word mommy in this world and not think you're addressing somebody here.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, it gets very confusing. She was treated with opiates, then fentanyl. Long story, she's off that stuff. Takes some over-the-counter medicine, CBD for pain. She spent days on disability. Ran out 2 months ago. Watches TV, smoking cigarettes. Hardly bathes. Never leaves the house. Horrendous smoker's cough. Oh, this is sad. There's a lot of people like this out in the world. She's 61. She knows she needs help but won't do anything to help herself and don't know what to do. My advice, I would make me the happiest mommy on the planet. Love me, tell me what to do. Desperate mommy about my mommy. Ian, this takes a lot of work, something like this. My bet is she's still on something, maybe alcohol, having been that strung out on opiates as she was. The whole story may be addiction here. And so the treatment would be to treat the addiction, get her to meetings and things like that. That's one possibility. I'm more suspicious this is multiple things. Depression clearly has an overlay here. The fact that she had fibromyalgia suggests to me that she has depression and a sleep disorder and maybe trauma, childhood trauma. And so as a result of that childhood trauma, there may be some personality issues and difficulty functioning interpersonally and in the world. So this is a big mess at age 60. It's a lot of stuff that would need to be treated, and she would have to participate actively. And I suspect this is really complicated. Let me just tell you, this is somebody who has deteriorated to the point that she's not functioning because of her psychiatric condition. Let's make no bones about it. This is all psychiatric. And it seems like it's a polydiagnosis, meaning it's personality, it's mood, it's substance, it's all these things. And somebody would have to cart her to meetings and therapists, and so you could Zoom her in and start to get her on proper medication. And I would also, get all the alcohol out of the house. I've got a suspicion there's something like that there with her, because it's hard for people to be this isolated and this alone and not have something that they're using to fill the void, so to speak. And that's usually alcohol in this kind of setting. Oh my goodness. Do we have a voice message?
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Drew. Hey, big-titted booth boys. My name is Paige, and I was wondering, if the drive for sex is to procreate, why do men still want to have sex with women, even if they are infertile, on birth control, or past their childbearing years? I know some men can find their partner undesirable after they've become pregnant or after giving birth for a period of time. Thanks again. Piss on me, beat me.
I will. So what happened is that the drive for reproduction became a paramount drive system, right? It's a very important system. Our purpose on life is to push the species forward. That's really what our genes want us to do. So other than survival, reproduction is the most powerful drive we have. And out in what's called the environment of evolutionary adaptedness, it didn't really matter so much who we tried to procreate with. We just had to try to do it as much as possible. So as long as we were there trying it all the time, that increased the probability of reproduction and of our genes going forward. So people wouldn't even live into these non-reproductive years very often. Younger men, we as older males do sort of lose our drive a bit too. So that's good. We're not as prone to, but younger men are out there just trying to get their genes going forward. And the fact that we live so much longer now and that we live in infertile states, and that's all something that's come since our evolution, right? That was the environment of evolutionary adaptedness. We lived to 30, we reproduced, and boom. We died of disease, we died of hunger, we died of all kinds of things. So reproduce fast was what we needed to do. And we would more likely encounter somebody that was fertile than not fertile. So we just didn't differentiate, just reproduce. And now we wonder why we keep doing it, and we do. Hey, here's one for Annie. Crazy Xanax meltdown. Dude, you ready for this?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Somehow my doctor put me on 4 to 6 milligrams of alprazolam and 1 milligram of Klonopin. Oh my God, when I was 20. Kept me on until I was 25. I'm now 26. At the start of COVID, I freaked out after I got worse and worse. He switched me from 6 of Xanax and to 2 of Klonopin without warning. The seizures are fine. Get your shit together, were his words. Wow. Ugh. I had to go through brutal taper via Ashton manual from another doctor. Now I'm off. I feel awful. I heard the receptors in my brain are still recovering. This is what we talked about last time. It can take a year. My MRI scan shows in a large pituitary gland that I think is from the dopamine disorder of overall stress of the taper. Do I think so? Not necessarily. Nah. Yes, dopamine does go up during, and you can get some pituitary enlargement. The question was there cellular enlargement also? That would not be from the withdrawal. Definitely want to keep an eye on that, though. Pituitary enlargements happen. It's not something to be alarmed about. But you need to see an endocrinologist, and there may be some medication you have to be on to kind of suppress that. Is there anything I can do to speed the recovery? I had a bad reaction to SNRIs, SSRIs. How is it legit for doctor to keep all that medicine for that long? I don't know. I do not understand how my peers can use benzodiazepines the way they do it, that they can give it with opiates. They can give it. The benzodiazepine problem is what's left over from the opiate epidemic. We're still doing it with the benzodiazepines, and it's disgusting. So, yes, you were mistreated. That's terrible. And you're going to have withdrawal for up to a year. That's the horrible part. I told Annie that's why I don't want him taking very much of this stuff for very long.
So I'm already off it, Chief.
Thank you. Good. So the next year is not going to be good for you. And there are 2 medications that are very, very, very helpful. The main one is Neurontin, gabapentin. Gabapentin in high doses. Now, at high doses, it can become a little sedating, and so you want to taper it down from that, and you want to get on as little as possible to control your what's called post-acute withdrawal. The acute withdrawal is what you went through with that brutal taper, and now you're having post-acute withdrawal. The next thing is to consider using some phenobarbital that sometimes here and there helps, 30 to 60 milligrams once or twice a day to help take some of the edge off. Not for long term, just to kind of get you kind of stabilize in the game. Then the third thing is to get your sleep right. And that is rough. I'm not going to kid you. That can be tough at this stage of the game. So you want to use all the non-addictive things you can, like melatonin and maybe some Benadryl and maybe some Unisom. There's all kinds of things like that you can try to see if that helps you restore some sleep. Be careful with the melatonin. It tends to be a little bit short-acting. You may want to take a long-acting melatonin. And then the next thing is, and this gets a little more involved, there's medications like Seroquel or Trazodone, those sorts of, Trazodone being probably the next one, which can be helpful. As you said, you've had bad reactions to SSRIs. Trazodone is what's called a quadracyclic antidepressant. It's not an SSRI. It's an old-fashioned antidepressant that turned out to be better for sleep than depression. So you probably could take the Trazodone. So 3 meds for you that you should talk to your doctor about: gabapentin, phenobarbital, and Trazodone. And the Trazodone, if it really works for you, sometimes you can take during the day too, to take some of the edge off, like at 25 milligrams or so at a time. And then more involved stuff includes Seroquel and Geodon and things like that. It's a marathon, man. You got to make it possible to get through this year. Voicemail, another one.
Hey, Dr. Drew. This is Nathan.
Nathan.
This call isn't about me, but I'm just sitting here watching my dog poop. And, watching him prolapse his anus to poop, I'm just thinking that would be so convenient if we could do that. There's zero wiping. Don't have to worry about any of that crap. Do you know, is there any kind of evolutionary advantage to not prolapsing your anus? Thanks, Dr. Drew. I'll see you up in Maine.
Jesus Christ,
your mom's house, they're thinkers. We're thinkers here.
Let me. Dogs don't wipe even if they don't prolapse.
Correct. And dogs don't prolapse their anus. I know what he's talking about. They have a sort of a flowering that goes on. But that's normal anal function. And we have something similar we do. Trust me, believe it or not. And the wiping is just, us being evolved biological agents. That's all, buddy.
Right. So the prolapse.
Dogs would if they could. They lick their anus is what they do.
It's more of a puckering, right?
Yeah. Dogs lick their anus. They do clean up. Although I must admit, I have to clip some of the hair on my dog very frequently. He's a little bit cavalier. Cavalier, I'd call him. Cavalier shitter. Give me another one. That was a waste of my time.
Hey, Drew. It's Chris from Canada. So I'm just wondering here. Sometimes I get, blood that comes out of my belly button. Sometimes, you get lots of lint in there, but sometimes I find, wet blood. I got to use a Q-tip to get out, and it smells kind of funny. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens sometimes, and I don't know if this is a problem. Does this happen to other people? Piss on me, beat me. You bet I'm coming up in May. Bye.
Yeah, it actually is a problem. I think I've talked about it once or twice here before, which is, there's a canal in there, and that canal can become rather deep, and it can get infected. And because it sort of closes up on itself, the bacteria become what's called anaerobic. The non-oxygen utilizing bacteria proliferate in there, and those are the ones that smell bad. Those are the ones that cause abscesses, and it can be a mess. In fact, I would talk to a physician about it just to make sure you're not actually having an abscess in there or something, and to make sure, probably a dermatologist could be the most to help you with it, and make sure you're doing proper cleaning and that thing is properly assessed. And peroxide and that kind of thing might be the way to go, and you might have to do it on a regular basis. So I would talk to a doctor about it, so have someone examine it. That's an interesting one. Do you guys know that about your belly button? You could be a periumbilical abscess.
Oh. No, I was gonna be like, yeah, I know my belly button smells like shit.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. Canada, a lot of your mom's house fans are in Canada, aren't they? Is that true?
Some of them. I know we have a bunch of mommies up there.
Yeah, I think a bunch of mommies up there. What is it about Canada that this is so attractive to? Do you think? And we don't do a lot of Canada videos. We should.
I don't know. I think maybe it's the English speaking that Canada likes.
I see. So it's okay. In other words. Shut the fuck up, Drew. We don't have any good reason for it. It's just one of them things.
I'm learning that each of us have our own way
of shut the fuck up. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, let's give some more voice message.
Turn off that X-ray vision, bro. It's shit's scary, man. It's just scary.
I just let it blink on for a second. I don't like to use it. It's disturbing, some of what I see. I got news for you. Here we go. More voice.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Mommy.
My name is Julia. I'm from Montreal. I have a lot of anxiety, both a generalized anxiety disorder and I'm also a borderline personality disorder person. But my main issue is that I stink. I just stink. My armpits stink so much. I walk out of the shower and right away I'm disgusting. I just, I'm just trying to keep them high and tight for the boys.
I understand.
And I feel like they don't come around me because I stink. And I also sweat a lot.
Oh.
I'm a daily cannabis smoker. I don't know if that makes a difference. But, yeah, I'm not on the medication.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thanks so much. Keep them high tight. You bet I'm coming up in May.
So we probably should do some talk about borderline. But, remember I've talked before about fish odor syndrome? Remember
yes.
that?
Yeah, the rotting fish syndrome.
Yeah, this is not that, I don't think. I think she needs to shave. That reduces it somewhat. Maybe use some antibacterial soap, Physahex, that kind of thing can be helpful. Maybe get the stronger prescription strength deodorants. That can be helpful as well. When people get some of these funk syndromes, they are really hard to treat. They're not easy for people to come through. And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. And men, what do you guys think about men and smells? If you're really attracted to somebody, they tend to deal with them pretty well, don't you think? You guys agree? Some guys, that's a deal breaker. Other guys, if they're really in, they're in. You guys are not smell guys. All right.
No, if someone stinks, it's like, hey, bro, do something about that.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be willing to.
Around that,
Well, but you'd be willing to work with them. If you're really attracted to the person and they're reciprocating. All right. Okay, that's interesting. So borderline personality. Do you guys know what that is?
Borderline personality?
Yeah.
All I know is that it's scary.
It is kind of scary.
It's super hot and cold. It's I love you and I hate you all mixed into
that's
one,
right. I hate you, don't leave me. That's sort of the classic thing of a borderline feeling state. Is like I'm pushing you away. I hate you, but don't leave me because I can't stand abandonment. Let's look up the criteria for borderline disorder, and we'll just sort of. When I read it, everyone's going to feel like they have it because that's the way personality disorders are. Let's see, criteria. Can we just look up criteria for person? Yeah, borderline criteria. There we go. There you go. Criteria for diagnosis. That's good. Nope. Top. There you are. Here we go. All right. Let's go. Okay. Chronic feelings of emptiness, emotional instability, reaction to day-to-day events, irritable anxiety lasting a few hours, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. I told you about that. Identity disturbance, the markedly persistent, unstable self-image, impulsive behavior in at least 2 hours, potentially self-damaging, spending sex, substance, reckless driving, inappropriate, intense anger. We call it unregulated aggression, unregulated rage, difficulty controlling the anger, patterns of unstable, intense personal relationships. Right. So intensity in relationships is what borderlines get into, and splitting behavior. They deviate, they fluctuate between extreme idealization and devaluation. You're the best doctor I ever had. You're the worst doctor. I have to destroy you. Suicidal behavior, self-harm, some paranoid ideation, some dissociative symptoms. So there you go. And it's a narcissistic disorder, so lots of preoccupation about themselves. And there's some grandiosity that comes along with it sometimes, but it's that unstable relationship, it's the unregulated rage, it's the suicidal and self-harming behaviors, and the splitting, which is, they'll like go, Nadav, you're the nicest person in the world. You know what Annie said? He's an ass. He said you're an asshole. Annie, never believe what Nadav said about you. Splitting people to sort of make themselves more important.
Oh, super cool.
Super cool. Annie, it sound like anybody you've ever dated? I'm just guessing.
Really wish you'd turn off that vision.
I'm just guessing.
Really wish you'd just turn those eyes off real quick.
You're the best, Annie, and then all of a sudden you're the worst. And then you're cheating. You're cheating. I know it. You looked at her. I'm going to kill you. Right? How long ago was the last time you were with the board?
Every time, man. Every time. That's.
So
I mean, I've understood at this point. It's something that it's something in me that I am, bringing to myself.
You attract it. You attract
it for sure. There's something in me.
We talk a lot on this show about relationships, and of course, relationships include sexuality, and people bring uncomfortable stuff here and things that they may not be talking to everybody about. And one of those things can be sex toys, something that can enhance relationship. People should not be ashamed about that. Dame Products is a women-owned sex toy company making the next generation of actually tested vibrators. Founded by a sex educator and an engineering whiz, Dame develops toys with the help of real humans and real couples. They test them. They're closing the so-called pleasure gap and helping the world What they say, one vulva at a time, everybody. Their vibrators and accessories are made with medical-grade silicone. They have smart design principles. They've been made really with love, and they've been earning glowing press from the New York Times, W Magazine, and many more. Whether you're a couple looking for an extra boost, something that we talk about in this show to help each other out, or maybe you're just on a journey of self-exploration, Dame should have a spot on your bedstand. And the best part, Dame offers hassle-free returns within 60 days, so your satisfaction is literally guaranteed. Go to dameproducts.com/Drew today. You'll get 15% off site-wide. Again, go to Dame Products, D-A-M-E, products, dameproducts.com/Drew today for 15% off site-wide.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. You were right about one thing. I read all of that, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be me, 100%.
Oh, so, you feel like you have borderline traits yourself?
I mean, just hearing most of those things, yeah.
Oh,
like
that's interesting. Well, that's interesting. So you may have some borderline stuff. That's interesting. You know, there's a famous football player that had borderline disorder.
The one who killed everybody?
No. The guy who wore the green shoes.
Green shoes?
Yeah, green shoes. Running back.
Huh.
Shit. Just look up.
Is it Brandon Marshall?
Yeah, Brandon Marshall. Exactly. Brandon Marshall. He's a really cool guy, and he had it treated with something called dialectical behavioral therapy. And it's now all settled down, and he talks about how he's had this thing, and he didn't understand it. And so DBT for borderline. If you feel like it's traditionally thought of as something that affects women more than men, but as you see, men have it, and it's not that uncommon. And there's a lot of it these days. A lot of borderline stuff out there these days. And I think kind of the way the world is put together sort of fosters borderline, the way we live through social media and that kind of stuff. So there you go. Maybe we ought to bring in a borderline test, Andy.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
Be interesting to learn.
Yeah, am I a borderline? I've got am I a psychopath, which I thought would be interesting to give you guys. I'm not going to give it today. I want to. What we're going to do is sort of at some point document which amongst you. Maybe wait for Zolo to be back. Is Chris still in there? Is he in there now?
Chris is in here.
Yeah. Whether any of you have these psychopathic traits, so we'll do that. We'll do it all, and we'll dedicate a show to test. I'll work on some borderline.
Ooh, so borderline psycho episode.
Here's the thing about borderlines. So those traits that I read, you've made you feel like those are more kind of you or the women you date.
Both.
So that's interesting. Usually, if you have borderline traits, you would tend to attract people that were more sociopathic, like more manipulative and more self-serving. Does that sound like the people you date?
More manipulative and self-serving.
Yeah,
like, it sounds like both. Yeah.
Yeah, because borderline, it's the chaos and the instability, but sociopaths will sort of come in and take advantage and really don't just want to use you for themselves and that kind of thing. Does that sound like the stuff that gets attracted to you?
I mean, but it sounds like both, though, like that they're both of those things.
So you get borderlines and sociopaths.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that I hear I don't know. Maybe it's a thing.
Well, let's look up sociopathic traits. Let's do that. Let's talk about sociopaths. So sociopathic traits, giving everybody a little. There we go. Definition for that. No. Do you just look up antisocial personality criteria. Look at that. Antisocial personality criteria. And we'll sort of do it that way. Antisocial personality criteria. Yeah. Criteria. There you go. There you are. No, second one. Sorry, guys. We roll through this. This is all spontaneous, so we want to get right to it. All right, there we go. Here we are. Impulsivity, deceitful, failure to conform to social norms, particularly lawful behavior, performing acts that are grounds for that's sort of antisocial, but keep going up.
Jesus, are you reading Annie's Instagram bio?
How you dare you? Irritable, aggressive, suck my dick.
Oh shit, never mind. I'm a fucking sociopath. Holy shit. Never mind. Fuck borderline, bro.
Reckless disregard for safety. Let's keep going. Let's keep going up. Keep going. Consistent irresponsibility, that's not you. Lack of remorse, that's not you. We talked about you don't like feeling guilt though. We talked about that. No, you really that's extreme antisocial. That's more sort of criminal. Sociopath, that's not right. Let's look up sociopathic personality.
Annie, could you switch to your angle so people could see how agape your mouth is at the revelation you've just had?
Let's look up sociopathic personality criteria. Let's get that. Let's see if we can get something because that's a little more sedate compared to antisocial.
What was it?
Sociopath personality criteria. Let's see if we can get some because this will be more Annie. No, antisocial.
Oh, what we looked up was
down.
antisocial personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I think.
Yeah, you had some
I think
antisocial
that's me.
stuff because you're dad. You've said that.
Yeah.
I don't think you have the personality. So you have traits. You see, you don't have the disorder. If you had the disorder, you'd be in jail all the time.
I mean,
all the time, not ever, all the time. Sociopath. Well, let's look at the signs of sociopath.
what if you're just a really good one?
You're really good when you're hiding it. That's true.
Yeah, it's like
they can happen. Keep going up. Signs. Here we go. Consistent pattern. Okay. Lack of empathy. That's not you. Impulsive. Attempting to control others with aggression or threats. Using intelligence and charm to manipulate. Not learning from mistakes. Lying for personal gain. Showing a tendency to violence. Generally superficial in relationships. Sometimes stealing. Threatening suicide to manipulate. Sometimes abusing drugs or alcohol. Trouble with responsibility. So
never mind. No.
Yeah.
Not,
So
not
the one
sociopath.
thing you never have is irresponsibility and that kind of stuff, or trouble following through. You don't like feeling guilt, but you're capable of, you do feel guilt and stuff, and you know the difference between right and wrong, and you don't manipulate other people. But I'm wondering if your female partners are more in this zone, like they lie and manipulate a little bit.
I mean, in my previous relationships, we've both manipulated each other for sure. Like, I mean, I learned from my first how that works, and
Explain. What do you mean?
Like, my first ex was one of the most manipulative motherfuckers in the world. And
in what sense? Give me an example of what you would do.
Oh God, she was the what you were saying. I mean, shit, it might be borderline.
Would she threaten to like suicide or threaten to cheat or?
It wasn't just threatened. She tried and was like, this is all you guys' fault. And stuff. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody cared about me.
Yeah, that's more borderline. That's more borderline.
She was fucking insane. So it went from that to, me, of course, gaining some of those traits and
interesting.
And like, cause what I thought was I was just weak in that relationship because I didn't grow up with any, therapists or people that talked about that. So I just took it as, I was just weak. I didn't get how to like play that game.
Right.
So I just tried to play that game in the next, and then I learned that that's not fucking okay. And so it just kind of, has gone on a crazy roller coaster until it's more or less fizzled out.
Time to get well.
Yeah.
Time for you to get well.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, it's good. These are all traits. See, the difference between traits and a personality disorder, you can't let go of. You can't get low of a disorder. Traits you can kind of try emphasize and recognize them and undo them. Those are traits you can undo. But if you have an actual disorder, you would never really even see the things you're doing, and you would always blame the outside world for any of your actions. So in other words, let's say it's the manipulation. Of course I'm manipulative. The guy's an asshole, and I have no other option but to do that. It's just how I survive, and blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't ever look at yourself or put the locus of the problem in you. It would all be out there. That's a personality disorder. And personality disorders are relatively fixed. Traits can come and go and change. And so these are all traits we're talking about with you, it seems to me.
I gotta understand the difference of those, because everybody says that like essentially my acknowledgement of these traits is proof that I am not.
Proof you don't have a personality disorder. It doesn't mean you don't have the traits.
Right.
It means you don't have you can change them.
Right.
You can change them, hopefully.
Because what I'm saying, my fear has always been narcissist. I feel like I'm a fucking narcissist, and I've felt like that for almost a decade now.
Narcissism is endemic right now. I mean, everybody has narcissistic traits. It's just the world we live in right now. And the problem with narcissism is not the narcissism. Let me give you a little primer on this. The problem with narcissism is that you're not connected to primary feelings. You talk about it as dissociation, and you want to have your feelings. Your feelings are full of information and richness, and they help us live our life in a certain kind of way. So you lose out when you're a narcissist on those rich feeling states, okay? The liability of narcissism is, well, in addition to not having those primary feelings, you also feel empty and longing. Empty and longing are part of sort of having a narcissistic disorder. And then in the world, you may not have the capacity for empathy. And when you lose the capacity for empathy, you hurt other people, and you don't want to do that. So those are sort of the liabilities of narcissism. By itself, it's neither good nor bad. It's just traits. But when you're not connected to feelings, when you feel chronically empty and unwhole, and you maybe act out in ways where you don't appreciate what you're doing to other people, it's not a great way to go through life. So you just got to stay on top of it. Again, a real narcissist doesn't give a fuck. A narcissistic trait, which many of us have, is sort of interested in changing it and doing better and connecting to feelings and being empathic towards other people, because that's where a more meaningful life comes from. Okay? Does that all make sense?
It does. And I mean, one thing I can absolutely at least say is I've always been interested in, bringing up others. So if that's in me at all, I guess.
No, there's all kinds of stuff in you. If I were worried about you, I would tell you. I am not. I feel like this is part of your maturation process, whatever it is, and you're working on it. And personally, I had to go to therapy for a long time to connect with the primary feelings that I was disconnected from. That was my job in therapy. Not everybody needs therapy. Sometimes it's really just about, a lot of the times it's just about getting healthier in your relationships. Because if you can form healthy, stable attachments, the rest of it kind of comes along for the ride. You can't do all that screwy, manipulative, self-serving, non-empathic stuff in a really secure attached relationship. The other person will not put up with it; they'll leave. So something to think about. Good conversation.
I have two quick questions for you though.
I got you.
So because one thing, there were only like some traits that I could take from all of these that we read, but the antisocial syndrome or whatever it was.
Yeah.
All of those 100% like to the maximum.
Yeah. So what's
the first thing to?
So probably, again, I'm not assessing you. I'm not your doctor, so I'm just going to speculate in cases like yours. Oppositional defiance disorder is something that we see more in childhood, and when people have sort of abusive relationships, particularly with dad, oppositional defiance is a very common thing. And so look up oppositional defiance disorder, and you'll see that's very familiar for you, and that can turn into an antisocial personality, right? I don't think you went into I don't believe you went into the antisocial personality. I think you probably stayed in sort of oppositional defiant, which is something that people kind of grow out of, in my understanding. I'm no expert in this. Look, no. Yeah, we had it there. The table 18 there, yeah. Let's look at oppositional defiant disorder, okay? It's conduct disorders in the classroom. Irritable mood, argumentative, keep going. Loses temper, easily annoyed, argumentative, defiant, argues with authority figures. You've told us you do this stuff. Blames others for his mistakes.
I do it, but I'm not aggressive. I don't think I've ever been considered aggressive.
I would agree. Spiteful and vindictive at least twice in the past 6 months. Persistent and frequent use of behavior should be used to distinguish behavior. So anyway, resentful, angry, whatever. This is just sort of a thing that kids get into when they don't trust. They're fighting their way to try to be okay in the world, and authority has mistreated them, and they can't. And you need to be able to trust authority to be able to sort of move through society. Let's see, distressful to others. Keep going. Let's see. C. Behavior does not occur during the course of a psychotic. Yeah, blah blah blah. Criteria for conduct is, you're right. You see, it's associated with antisocial personality, so it's under 18. They're really thinking about here. All right. And of course, it goes mild, moderate, or severe, and you would be, if you had any of that, mild, right? It's school, homework, peers, that kind of thing. It's not that you're out in legal problems. All right. So again, all highly, highly, highly manageable, highly changeable. We can change these things.
Gotcha.
Right? Especially when you're contemplative about it. You're looking at them, and you're, so your work is, again, stable attached relationship. You should read about attachment and stuff too. It would help you as well. And emotional regulation is staying with your feelings rather than dissociating from them. That's what we're saying. So there, and you can see a therapist. It's so satisfying to see a therapist, but it's also satisfying to see a cool lady singing on the subway. So let's see that.
If you want to be my lover, you have got to get taking this too easy, and that's just how it is. So tell me what's wrong with me, baby. I'll tell you what's wrong with me.
Oh, off the train?
You like Spice Girls, Drew?
So, but some of that kind of crazy language and stuff, and the extreme elation and the speed and all that, that's mania. That is mania. So that's what happens. People get manic. They start to speak in tongues and things. Now, I know that she was mouthing some stuff from the lyrics and all, but the speed with which she's able to do that, and the intensity, and then the off the train, all that stuff, that very impulsivity, that is mania. But let's hear it again. It's good.
If you want to be my lover, You have got to get taking this too easy, and that's just how it is. So tell me what's wrong with me, baby. I tell you what's wrong with me, baby.
Bye.
She is nailing
She's
that
awesome.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. So manics are very entertaining. They're very fun. Until they get irritable and angry and aggressive, but they get eventually too. So it's rough. Why was that part of that blurred out? Was her clothing not on fully?
Yeah, her tits were out.
Oh, that's also a manic thing. Throwing the clothing off is eventually, when people get sick enough, they throw their clothes off. And we've talked about this before. That guy down in San Diego that threw his clothes off. Remember this?
Is that the Coney 2012 guy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You want to see that video real quick, just as long as we're talking about Mania?
I think we've been flagged.
You've been
for it
there.
before.
Okay. All right. Is there any voice message or anything else business left for me to get into?
Dude. We got a couple more.
All right,
voice
let's do it.
messages for you.
Let's do it.
Hello, Dr. Drew. Why does weed make me so goddamn horny? I don't understand. It's not fair. I don't like to drink. I don't like any other drugs. This is my preferred recreational activity, and I'm just trying to go to the movies, but my pussy's throbbing the whole time, and I can't fucking pay attention. Why does weed make me so horny? And I've noticed that certain strains make me hornier than others. But I don't understand, why? It never was like this until I was in my 30s. I could just smoke weed and it'd be fine. Now I'm just walking around dripping like a fucking leaky faucet. Help me, Dr. Drew. I just want to enjoy weed without feeling like a creep in public. Bye. Love you, Mommy.
I like the way she's cracking her own shit up. She starts laughing at her
I love how mad she's getting.
Yeah, so she just wants to enjoy weed and not have to get horny with it. I don't have a real explanation for you. I know that happens. I've heard of this before. Not quite as vividly as your manifestations, so that's nice. It makes me, she does seem a little hypomanic herself, and it makes me wonder, could it be precipitating some sort of manic stuff? Because hypersexuality can go along with mania. But if you remember, we had that guy, was it last show, that couldn't evacuate his bladder when he smoked pot? There's effects in the autonomic nervous system that we don't fully understand that are idiosyncratic, that are specific to the individual. And this is your thing. And good on you. Look, a lot of women look for things to help with their libido. You've got it. Good for you. Give me another one.
Hey, Dr. Drew. It's Lindsay in New York.
Hi, Lindsay.
So, brief background. I've been having auditory symptoms for close to 10 years. It sounds like a swooshing noise, kind of coming in one ear and feels like it's coming out the other.
Weird.
And then I'll have a brief ringing in my ears for about 30 seconds, and then it goes away. I've gotten an MRI. I've gone to the ENT twice for hearing tests, and everything always comes up normal.
Yeah.
But last night, my husband made me come super hard with his mouth, and this auditory thing happened immediately after I busted my nut. But this time it lasted way longer than usual. It was like about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird because everything sounded like we were sort of in a fishbowl. It was very echoey, and every time I touched anything, it sounded sort of like static on a television, which is more severe than it's been in the past. So does this have something to do with the fact that I orgasmed? Is there any other route I should go with this?
No.
Thanks, Jeans. Love
All right,
you.
all right,
You
Mommy.
bet your ass I'm coming up in May.
Thank you, Mommy. Love her. It's a nothing. It's a nothing. You've had the proper neural workup. It's a nothing. When people get all kinds of strange ringing in their ears and swooshing and this and that, one of the disturbing things about some of these sensory phenomenon, like ringing in the ears and these funny swooshing that we just get as human beings, is that sometimes they'll trigger panic or be associated with panic. And I'm guessing you have a little bit of that with this as well. Keep an eye on it. You'll see that when you get the all of a sudden you'll get weird about it. You get panicky. And it's a nothing. And the fact that, it can be a lot of things. It can be, the muscle, and you have two muscles in your eardrum that tighten up and they can make the ear less responsive. All that bearing down, maybe when you were having the orgasm, can affect the blood supply to certain parts of your. Who knows? It's it's medically irrelevant is the important thing, except insofar as it causes panic sometimes. But that's about it. So don't worry about it. Enjoy. Give me one more. These have been great.
Solid advice.
Yeah. Abundanza. No, enjoy.
Hey, Dr. Mommy, I had a question for you. I am a almost 35-year-old married man. I've got one kid, and I'm about to get a vasectomy here in about a month. My question is, when I was young, I had to have this surgery on my dick hole to make it bigger. Ever since I did, it's made it to where when I pee, it goes into multiple streams sometimes, especially if I had just made white, which I think is pretty normal. But my question is, while I'm getting my vasectomy, could I also maybe have my boy, hook it up and fix my pee hole?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't make multiple streams and make fucking messes everywhere.
Yeah.
And embarrass the shit out of me. Anyways, just wondering, keep them high and tight, and best believe I'm coming up in May.
Yeah, buddy. It's possible. I can't say for sure they can fix it because the split stream and the wiper fluid stream and all that kind of stuff are very common when people have urethral abnormalities. I don't know if you had a phimosis repaired or if you had a urethral stricture. My guess is it was a urethral stricture that didn't fully heal or didn't fully get repaired. So by all means, they can certainly evaluate it, and if there's something to be done, why not do it at the same time? They don't really do the vasectomy under anesthesia. So I don't know. Certainly you'll be in the hands of a urologist. And that's the time to start looking and talk about these things. So the answer is, yeah, by all means look into it. There may not be a correction though. That I know it's kind of messy and a pain in the butt. I'm enjoying these. One more. Come on.
Hi, Jeans and Dr. Jeans, respectively. One question I have that I'm afraid to ask my doctor about is about period blood. So is there like DNA hanging out in my period blood? And does that mean if there was like a crime scene and like there was a body and there was a tampon left behind, does that mean that like they would do DNA testing on the tampon? This are the things I think about. Keep it high and tight, guys. Thank you. This is Michelle, by the way.
Thanks, Michelle.
What the fuck kind of question is that?
I mean, why not? I mean, you can do DNA on just about anything. Red blood cells they lose their nucleus, so they don't really have DNA, but white cells have tons of DNA in them, and there's DNA in all your fluid, essentially, so I would imagine that would be a source of potential check for DNA. Why not?
No, yeah, it's if
you don't like period blood, ended up, what you're saying?
No, I just mean,
how
like,
dare you?
If she's saying that, like, oh, should I not be having a period at a crime scene where I committed a crime? Yeah, also don't come or spit at that scene either.
Yeah, how about not committing a crime? I think that's
really
let's go all the way to
route.
good recommendation. But she's just obsessing. She's thinking about these things. It's all right. She was just wondering. It's all right. It's youth, the enthusiasm of youth, my friend. All right, that about does it for today. We appreciate it as always. Again, get the Rational Revolution cup. Get it at store.ymhstudios.com. And again, the voice message is 818-253-1693. We need lots of them. And drdrewafterdark@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time.
All conversations and information exchanged during participation of the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.